Howdy, 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 my name's Ananshi Sasuke, and welcome back to the Homestuck Epilogues, which has its own playlist now. Um, I was not really intending on continuing these, but it feels like the epilogues are gonna come up in Pesterquest pretty soon. It really feels like Pesterquest is leaning into the epilogues. And if that's true, I probably need to finish the epilogues before I can continue Pesterquest. Also, somebody asked me if I was going to keep doing it, and they just made their way through all the Homestuck videos, so I figure I should at least try. So, how long you been watching? Long enough to smell you flailing about like a wiggler while talking to Jade's shoes. Oh, awkward. And I believe that, the other universe version of Calliope is narrating now, because she just banished Dirk to the netherworld. The Shadow Realm, that's the one. She stares at John for some time, a curious expression on her face. She says nothing for long enough that John begins to wonder if she has any use for him at all. Will she offer one last barb just before vanishing from his life again, for good this time? He hopes he means more to her than that, especially after all the trying experiences they've shared. And he does mean more to her than that. Her hesitation isn't meant to make him feel unwelcome, she's simply processing what she is seeing. Something is off about him. John, do not take this personally, although I do absolutely mean it personally, but you smell like shit. It isn't his unseemly appearance she finds surprising. He is gravely wounded, but it's not that either. Something else is different about him, different somehow from how she thought he'd be when she imagined they'd next meet. Under all that gore, he smells too fresh. She decides to keep her observations to herself, lest she cause this ailing version of John more confusion. Yeah, well, you smell like shit too. I assume that you're correct, being that I've been out here for a certain amount of time with limited access to food and water, but I think that your situation is a bit more serious than mine, as you seem to be bleeding to death from a tooth in your chest. John laughs, exposing his 2 rows of disarmingly dull human teeth, signature characteristics of his smile. Oh, it's only a flesh wound. Yes, John, generally speaking, wounds tend to happen to the flesh. No, see, it's a movie reference. There's this knight, and he keeps losing the fight because he's in, but he refuses to give up. No, so when they cut off his arms and legs and stuff, he keeps acting like it's no big deal, and to remain defiant, he keeps saying stuff like it's only a flesh wound. Is that the title of the movie? No, the movie's called Monty Python. It actually kind of sucks. Movies from the 90s are so much better. I don't even know why I'm quoting this crap. I must be really in bad shape here. It's a good movie, don't be like that. Terezi tips her head to one side. With what John personally regards as a cute expression, one he believes is unique to her. Whether he's correct or not, it is his belief that there is no one else who emotes in this manner. It's both quizzical and mocking. 2 descriptors that he considers an apt summation of her personality as well. John pauses, reflecting on the word cute as it passes through his mind. He wonders if this is really what he thinks of Terezi, without influence, without delirium, without mistaking one emotion for another, but it is what he thinks of her, quite truthfully. I have no desire to interject thoughts into others' minds, or to sway intent, nor do I see value in masking the reality of the emotions that I transcribe. This is how he feels. His mind, however, has made a habit of being less clear about his thoughts than I'm willing to be. John would be mortified with human embarrassment if he could understand the clarity and precision with which I am willing to telegraph his thoughts. But his embarrassment is irrelevant to me, as always, the truth is paramount. John thinks Terezi is very cute, he always has. He thinks she's small for how big she talks, and she has a nose that resembles a button. These qualities he regards as particularly adorable, due to their sharp contrast with her harsh and incisive demeanor. John recalls the concept of gap moe, a term which the prince, speaking from his highly self-aggrandized position as a scholar of ancient Asian earth lore, once explained to mean a charming measured discrepancy between one's archetypal appearance and idiosyncratic personal attributes. Terezi is definitely cute, John decides. The conclusion is now at the forefront of his mind. I don't fucking believe this. But he still resists, doubts himself. Perhaps it is even weirder to frame it this way, he wonders. He fears he is in danger of something like the type of creepy human male who is likely to collect large pillows bearing the illustrated images of Japanese earth females. To me, this idea means nothing, but it is causing him to sweat. He's worried that these are the thoughts entertained by a man of low character, by perhaps a scoundrel. His worries are interrupted as Terezi floats over and flicks him on the forehead. Don't strain yourself thinking too hard there, Egbert. Yeah, now that you think about it, that was a dumb metaphor. It's one of those Earth things that's probably impossible for an alien to understand. Maybe it's the blood loss? I'm probably making a fool of myself here. John, your monkey python anecdotes was vintage Egbert tier. Adora's stupid, don't worry about it. Besides, on Eternia, would it be considered weird for someone to stop a fight just for losing a limb? Really? Yeah, if someone in the military ran away just for that, they'd probably get cold. Wow. Alternia sucked! Yeah. Suddenly, Terezi sways, feeling woozy. John reaches out to catch her shoulder, steadies her. Now closer he examines her face in detail. Her complexion is chalky compared to humans. Trolls have little color to lose. When they fall ill, there is a pallor to them, a dusty quality running deeper than the surface of the skin. Whoa! Whoa! Are you okay? Of course not! John, I am in the process of starving to death! Did I just say I've been out here for a long time? Alright! I'm just worried about you, dumbass! You don't need to jump down my throat about every little thing. I'm sorry. Just, how long have you been out here, Terezi? I have no idea. Time passes differently here, and not always in a straight line. Sometimes it feels like I've been here 100 sweeps, and I'm not even sure that's not true. It's hard to stay anchored. Woo! That's pretty heavy. Yeah. Here, look. I found my dad's wallet floating out here, like, fucking randomly? Can you believe that? Let's see if there's any food in it. She hesitates, weighing her temptation to playfully antagonize John against the virtue of sincere expression. There are times she worries the latter may be more appropriate. Thanks, Egbert. No problem, we're friends, Terezi. It's not like I'm gonna let you die out here just because we bicker sometimes. You don't have to be so on guard. Actually, I'm glad to see you. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. When John opens the wallet, the first thing he sees stored in the capacious modus is a spare car. His ever-prepared father must have capitalized a second one as a backup. Perhaps, as John speculates, in case his primary vehicle got a flat tire. You what, John? Hold that thought. Check this out! John deploys the spare car. It looks brand new, like the day his father bought the other one back from the dealership. It strikes John as the first bit of good luck he's had all day. Terezi is less impressed. Is this pathetically primitive four-wheel device edible, or am I misunderstanding something here? No, it's just that John's vision is dark and blurry around the edges. He's reminded that he's not in perfect physical condition either and could use a moment of rest. He climbs onto the trunk of the car, assuming a sitting position with his legs dangling in front of the bumper. He exhales, then turns to look at Terezi. He pats the place beside him, inviting her to sit. She looks skeptical but relents, shimmying up next to him on the chrome. She shrugs out of the scraps of her rocket pack. They sit silently for several minutes, shoulders 2 inches apart. The atmosphere is thin and chilly. Below their dangling feet, the black hole looms, watching them. Above, the sky seems to stretch on more infinitely than a typical infinite expanse, without being boxed in by the properties of space or time. John observes Terezi watching the sky. The light flickers meteoric over her sharp features. It casts a pool of shadow beneath her eyes and in the dip of her neck. His innocent thoughts continue, with the cautious yet growing confidence of a skittish animal creeping out of the woods. It is confident only in its surety of being unobserved. Like this, he does not think she's cute at all. No, she's beautiful. This vision of her is haunting to him. It really is a mess out here, isn't it? Yeah. He opens the wallet again, both to search for something edible and to take his eyes from her. Objects begin appearing around him as he leaves through the cards. A crumpled fedora, a silk tie, his father's backup cufflinks. What are you doing out here, anyway? What do you think I'm doing out here? I'm looking for Vriska, of course. Still? What do you mean, still? Well, it's been years, at least from my perspective it has. What have you seen since you started looking? There's just nothing out here, not anymore. If you haven't found her yet, I hate to say it, but she's probably not here. I mean, she went out to fight Lord English, right? I was just there and I didn't see her, and I'm pretty sure everyone who was there is dead now. I wouldn't be surprised if we're the only 2 people left alive out here. Terezi stares at him with wide red eyes. Years? Yes. Oh, a year is about half as... I know that, fool! Oh, it's just sinking in how time has passed differently for us. Right. Time, not in the literal sense, or seconds passing by, but progress. You've changed so much, and all I've done is waste my entire lifespan walking in circles. Hey, let's not throw in the towel just yet. So do you think... Do I actually look that much different to you? She leans in to sniff him carefully. You smell older, but not as old as I thought you'd be. What does that mean? Don't worry about it. Oh, what's that? Terezi appears delighted. She quickly snatches something from the open wallet. It's a can of human shaving cream. She clutches it with covetous desperation, her mouth watering. Terezi, no, that's not food! John is too late. She sprays the airy white foam directly into her mouth. She is slurping the earth product known as Barbasol greedily. Groaning in pleasure as it runs down her chin in viscid, frothy rivers. John's eyes bulge at the unappetizing spectacle. He watches with a strange mixture of disgust and fondness. He briefly wonders about the caloric value of the foam. However, regardless of its nutritional merit, it does appear to have restored some of her vigor, so he decides not to interfere. He feels a twinge of pain in his chest and considers it may be on account of missing her so greatly. But no, it's just my brother's tooth, lodged deep in his chest, spreading its poison. It really should be extracted before it's too late. You feel better? Yes. That's good, but personally speaking, I feel like total shit. I think we should go back... home, I mean? No. She grabs him by the shirt. Her voice begins to waver, but he notices desperation in the dark circles under her eyes. Please, John, can we just stay a little longer? I have no idea what my Terezi voice was, but I'm going to have to remember it when I get to the Terezi episode of Pesterquest. His mind knows he must say no. His sense of self-preservation insists on it, but he simply can't. He redoubles his efforts to ignore the pain. He fights back tears. She can sense his great struggle, but says nothing. With a tilt of his head, he gestures towards the car. Okay, we can stay a little bit longer. Why don't you rest in the back seat so we can save your energy? I'll drive. Not literally drive, but, you know. Terezi crawls in back, while John floats into the driver's seat. He summons a gust of wind to propel the car through the decaying medium, as he once did on the battlefield so long ago. Terezi closes her eyes the moment her head hits the seat. She snores heavily. John makes a concerted effort not to be creepy about it, but, by his own estimation of the word's meaning, he cannot stop looking at her in the rearview mirror. He tells himself it's just to make sure she's still breathing, that it's just to make sure she's actually there. Okay, cool. So, I was considering stopping with just one chunk of meat, but was like, well, maybe I could do more than one chunk of meat. And then I saw the elevator to Jane's office, and I am not about that right now. So, this has been Anachi Sasuke. This was episode 8 of Let's Read the Homestuck Epilogue, if that's what I was calling it. Sorry that it's not longer. I am just not emotionally prepared to deal with how the epilogue is handling Jane. So, if you liked it, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.